This is Channel 7 News at 10 o'clock with Stephanie Williams, Neil Spells, weather with Connor Vernon, and Dave Cody on sports.
The trial of former Austin Police Vice Squad Sergeant Byron Bubba Case enters a fourth week on Monday as the case goes to the jury this afternoon. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Neil Spells.
I'm Stephanie Williams. Coming up next, a man with a plan. Keep Austin's homeless warm this winter.
We'll tell you how he's doing it when we come back. You know, a few weeks ago, an Austin businessman was stopped by a homeless mother who had 2 children there. It was cold outside, and she pleaded for him to give her his coat.
Randy Willis called it a turning point in his life, and in an effort to keep anybody else from going cold, Willis has started a donation drive called Operation Warm Heart.
State reporter Keith Elkins explains.
In Austin, Randy Willis practices what he preaches.
In Luke 3:11, it says, if you have 2 coats, give one to your brother that's in need.
Let's see if that'll fit you. You take care, brother.
Willis's personal ministry is called Operation Warm Heart. It's one man's response to a growing social problem easily ignored.
And I just felt like something had to be done.
Willis turned to Austin's Christian community for help and calls the response a modern-day miracle. Over the past 2 weeks, 1,200 coats, sweaters, shoes, and blankets have poured in from churches of all religions. All of these pieces donated in just the past 2 days.
It's not like people imagine. There's professional-type people on the streets. I was down there the other day, and a guy saw me and saw our logo on my shirt and said, I used to buy from you, and I just lost my job on the streets.
During videotaping, a middle-class mother with 3 children showed up. They were too embarrassed to be on camera, too ashamed to ask for help.
The blanket? Yeah, there's your blanket. Yeah.
It was the same response we got tonight from a man named Yogi, who now depends on the Salvation Army just to survive.
I've been homeless for 4 days now. I don't like it. It's something I have to deal with.
Both are victims of a troubled economy that's claiming more victims every day.
Just kind of embarrassed that they're in a position to need help. But I tell you, because of the grace of God, we could all be in that same position right there.
Keith Elkins, Channel 7 News.
Now, if you have clothing you'd like to donate to Operation Warm Heart, you can call Randy Willis at 929-3008. There are several drop-off points located around the city, and Willis says, boy, he'll be glad to point you to the one nearest you.
Yeah, that's the holiday spirit, and it's going to be actually very chilly this weekend.
It is a major change. Matter of fact, the front is already moving through
the area.
The wind is changing a little bit. Yeah. It's starting to pick up if you haven't been outside. If you are going to be outside tomorrow,
right,
definitely wrap up because it's going to be cold.
Ooh.
We'll have the forecast.
Christmas came a few days early for hundreds of area homeless people today. A number of local churches teamed up with an organization called Operation Warm Hearts to serve a holiday dinner for more than 400 people at the Baptist Soup Kitchen on East 1st Street. In addition to a complete turkey feast, those who showed up also received holiday gift baskets filled with all sorts of goodies.
You're watching KXAM TV, Channel 36, Austin, building a better Texas. Mary Lou Hartsharig, Robert Hedlund, meteorologist Mike Clay, and Michael Coleman Sports. Now, from your 24-hour news service, this is News 36 Nightcast.
Temperatures drop by more than 20 degrees as a blue norther rolls into the Lone Star State. Good evening. A surge of Arctic air is sweeping through central Texas.
And tonight it's blowing through Austin with a vengeance. This is not a night to be out on the cold streets, but that's where our Jay Avila is tonight. He's on the University of Texas campus, which appears to be bundled up for the night. Is that right, Jay?
Yes, it's pretty quiet here, Mary Lou. It's also very cold already, as was expected. especially with the wind gusting once in a while. It's already, the temperature has dropped considerably. Now, most of us, of course, don't have to worry about warm clothes to wear or bundled up when we go outside, but of course, for people who are homeless, well, they need to turn to someone else for help, and that's what they did today at the Salvation Army downtown.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, you okay?
Here you go.
A pair of warm hands won't take away the hardships of living on the street, but Gail Webster says they do make things a little more bearable.
Cold as it is out here, these come real in handy. Because the weather out here is whipping up their little jackets now, and with the gloves, it cuts off a whole lot.
As the icy winds whipped up, dozens of homeless gathered in front of the Salvation Army for a hot meal and some things to keep them warmer on the outside as well.
Coats, blankets, sweaters, shoes, shirts, pants.
For most Austinites, having something warm to wear isn't the problem. Preparing for this cold front meant stocking up on pipe insulation and outdoor faucet protectors in order to avoid some of the trouble we've had in previous cold snaps.
I just heard on the news that the storm front was coming through, so I decided to, take action.
Now, the folks that you saw passing out the coats and the gloves earlier on at the Salvation Army were from Operation Warm Heart, one of the organizations that's still collecting winter clothes for the homeless. If you want to help, you can contact Operation Warm Heart or the Salvation Army, because with the temperatures dropping into the mid-20s over the next few nights, they're going to need as many warm clothes as they can possibly get a hold of. Now, also tonight, as far as we know, the only ones patrolling the streets and looking for people who are caught out in the cold will probably be the Austin Police Department. They've been instructed to keep an eye out for people, to take them in, and to drive them to the Salvation Army or another shelter, wherever they need to go. As a matter of fact, I think I'm ready for one of them to come along and get me right now, Mary Lou. It's cold.
No kidding. You stay warm out there. Jay Avila reporting live from the UT campus.